Ready to dive into a world where things just stop making sense.
I think we're in the right place then.
Today, we're talking about quantum mechanics,
Right.
that mind-bending field of science
Yeah.
that's all about the nitty-gritty of the universe.
Yeah.
You've sent us some excerpts from Understanding Existence through Quantum Mechanics,
Yes.
and we're here to unpack it all for you.
It's, you might think quantum mechanics only matters for physicists,
Right.
but it's actually the foundation for everything around us.
Yeah.
And as we'll see, it might even have connections to things we
Yeah.
usually consider spiritual or philosophical.
Okay, so let's start with something I always find intriguing,
Okay.
the double slit experiment.
Yeah.
The book uses this to introduce some pretty wild concepts.
Right.
Can you walk us through it?
Imagine shining a light at a wall with two slits in it.
Okay.
You'd expect two stripes of light on the other side, right? That's how things usually work.
Right.
But in the quantum world, sometimes the light acts like it's going through both slits at once,
Right.
creating this pattern of wavy lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's as though the light is saying, I'm not just a particle traveling in a straight line. I can be a wave too.
Wait, so it's like the light is defying the laws of physics as we know them.
Exactly. And it gets weirder.
Okay.
The moment you try to observe which slit the light actually goes through,
Uh-huh.
it's like it chooses to act like a particle again and
Yeah.
only goes through one.
So it's being sneaky, but as soon as we try to catch it in the act, it changes its behavior.
Yeah, you could say that.
What's going on there?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
This is where the idea of the observer effect comes in.
Mm.
This suggests that simply by observing something at the quantum level,
Right.
we might actually be influencing its behavior.
This is where my brain starts to hurt a little,
Yeah.
but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like those particles know they're being watched.
Right.
This whole idea that we might influence reality just by observing it,
Yeah.
that's huge, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
It challenges our fundamental understanding of how the universe works.
Right.
And it gets even more interesting when we consider Richard Feynman's sum over paths theory.
Right.
Imagine that instead of taking one specific path from point A to point B,
Right.
you actually take every possible path simultaneously.
Okay. You're going to need to elaborate on that one. Every possible path.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
In the quantum realm, particles exist in a state of superposition,
Okay.
meaning they can be in multiple states at the same time until they are measured or observed.
Mm.
So until that particle reaches its final destination,
Yeah.
it's like it's exploring all possible routes.
So every decision we make,
Yes.
every path we don't take,
Right.
it's like those possibilities still exist somewhere in the quantum realm.
It's a mind-bending thought, isn't it?
It is.
It suggests that even at the smallest level,
Yeah.
an infinite number of possibilities exist.
Wow.
And you, by making choices,
Yeah.
determine which path becomes reality.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on the road less traveled.
Yeah.
It's like all those roads are being traveled, just maybe not by us.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I need a minute to process that.
Okay.
So we've got particles acting like waves,
Yeah.
the act of observing, changing things.
Right.
Is there more weirdness where that came from?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
The book also touches on the Copenhagen interpretation,
Okay.
which tries to explain what's happening when a particle goes from being in multiple states to a single state upon observation.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
What's the Copenhagen take on all of this?
Imagine reality is like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Okay.
Before you make a choice, all the possibilities exist at once.
Right.
But when you make a choice, the story solidifies into one particular outcome.
Right.
The Copenhagen interpretation suggests that observation is like making that choice in the book of reality.
So we're not just reading the book, we're actually writing it as we go along.
Some physicists believe so, yes.
Right.
That the act of observation is what collapses the wave function,
Mm.
forcing the particle to choose its state.
So we're not just passively observing the universe, we're actively participating in shaping it.
It seems that way, yeah.
This is getting pretty deep, even for a deep dive.
You're catching on quickly,
Okay.
and it raises some profound questions.
Yeah.
Does this mean there's no objective reality?
Right.
That everything only exists when we're looking at it?
Right.
It's enough to make your head spin right.
My head is definitely spinning. All right, let's shift gears for a second before my brain melts completely.
Okay.
The book also talks about energy transformation.
Yeah.
specifically about those photons, those tiny particles of light.
Right.
What's the significance of those in all of this?
Photons play a crucial role in one of the fundamental laws of physics,
Okay.
the law of conservation of energy.
Okay.
This law states that energy cannot be created or destroyed,
Right.
only transformed from one form to another.
So it's like that saying energy cannot be created or destroyed,
Right.
only transformed from a state of order to a state of utter chaos.
Right.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, what does that look like in practice?
Think of it like burning a piece of wood.
Okay.
The wood itself doesn't disappear.
Right.
Its energy is transformed into heat, light, and sound.
So it's like changing a $20 bill into two tens.
Right.
It's still the same amount of money, just in a different form.
Exactly.
Right.
And photons, being particles of light, are essentially energy in transit. They're constantly being emitted and absorbed,
Right.
playing a crucial role in this cosmic dance of energy exchange.
This is making me think about all the ways we experience energy in our own lives.
Yeah.
The energy we get from food, the energy we expend when we move,
Right, yeah.
even the emotional energy we share with others.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the idea that we are all part of this intricate web of energy, constantly exchanging and transforming it. It's a concept that's been explored in various spiritual traditions for centuries.
Right.
And now physics is starting to catch up.
Okay, so we've gone from particles acting like waves
Right?
to the idea that we might be shaping reality with our minds, to the interconnectedness of energy.
That's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It's a lot to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
But tell me, is there even more to this quantum puzzle?
Oh, we're just getting started.
Oh, boy.
The book also delves into the idea of unseen existence.
Okay.
Realms or dimensions that might exist beyond our current perception.
Okay, now you're really speaking my language.
Okay.
Unseen existence.
Yes.
Tell me everything.
Think about the electromagnetic spectrum.
Okay.
We can only see a tiny sliver of it, the visible light spectrum.
Right,
But beyond that are radio waves,
right.
microwaves, X-rays, all sorts of things we can't perceive directly.
It's like how dogs can hear sounds that we can't. It's there even if our senses aren't equipped to pick it up.
Precisely.
Right.
And just as there are sounds we can't hear,
Yeah.
there might be entire realms, dimensions, or states of being that our current scientific instruments and understanding simply can't grasp.
Okay, that's both amazing and a little creepy.
Yeah.
So what kind of unseen existence could be out there?
Yeah. The book mentions quantum tunneling.
Okay.
It's this phenomenon where a particle can pass through a barrier
What?
even if it seemingly doesn't have enough energy to do so.
How is that possible?
It's kind of like walking through a wall.
Quantum tunneling.
Yeah.
That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It is pretty wild.
It makes you wonder, what else are we missing?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what makes the study of quantum mechanics so captivating.
Yeah.
It reminds us that the universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and our understanding of reality is constantly evolving. What we perceive as limitations today might simply be thresholds to cross tomorrow.
I like the way you think.
Thanks.
Okay, so we've got these unseen realms,
Yes.
particles tunneling through walls.
Yeah.
What about quantum entanglement?
Okay.
Isn't that the one where two particles are linked across vast distances,
Yeah.
acting like they have some kind of telepathic connection?
You're exactly right.
Oddly.
Even Einstein called it spooky action at a distance.
Wow.
He wasn't a fan of the idea because it seemed to violate his theory of relativity,
Right.
which states that nothing can travel faster than light.
So was Einstein wrong?
Well, in
Yeah.
this case,
Here,
it seems like he might have been.
Wow.
Numerous experiments have confirmed that entanglement is a real phenomenon. It's like those two particles share a secret bond, a connection that transcends the usual limitations of space and time.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And the book connects this to, like, soulmates and stuff.
It does.
Early.
Is it saying there's actual science behind that feeling of being deeply connected to another person? The book certainly makes that connection.
Wow.
Suggesting that quantum entanglement could be the foundation for these deeper than deep connections we feel with certain people in our lives. Eastern spiritual traditions have been exploring these ideas of interconnectedness for centuries.
Right.
And it's interesting to see how they might intersect with modern physics.
It's like that saying, we're all connected.
Right.
But this is next-level connectedness.
It is pretty
So
amazing.
if we've got these unseen connections,
Yeah.
particles acting like waves,
Right.
what's the overarching message here?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
What are we supposed to do with all this mind-bending information?
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
Quantum mechanics isn't just about equations and experiments.
Right.
It's a whole new way of looking at the universe and ourselves. It challenges us to remain open to the unknown,
Okay.
to question our assumptions about reality, and to embrace the mystery.
It's definitely making me rethink everything I thought I knew about, well, existence.
Right.
The book also delves into the idea of existence beyond what we can see, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The book uses the analogy of the electromagnetic spectrum again.
Right.
We can only perceive a tiny fraction of it,
Okay.
the visible light.
Right.
But just because we can't see radio waves or microwaves
Yeah.
doesn't make them any less real.
Similarly, there could be entire realms of existence
Wow.
beyond our current scientific instruments and understanding.
So, like, there could be a whole other dimension right here, right now,
Possibly, yeah.
but we're just not equipped to pick up on it.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like having a conversation happening on a radio frequency your radio can't tune into.
Okay.
The conversation is real, it's happening,
Right.
but you just lack the means to access it.
That's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
It makes you wonder, what else are we missing?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the study of quantum mechanics so captivating.
Right.
It reminds us that the universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered,
Right.
and that our understanding of reality is constantly evolving.
Right.
What we perceive as limitations today might simply be thresholds to cross tomorrow.
I like that, thresholds to cross.
Yeah.
So we've got all these particles,
Right.
waves,
Yeah.
potential alternate realities and
Yeah.
unseen dimensions.
It's quite old.
And somewhere in all of that, we're supposed to find ourselves.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
The book suggests that quantum mechanics isn't just about understanding the universe out there,
Right.
but also about understanding the universe within us.
Okay.
Our thoughts,
Right.
emotions,
Yeah.
consciousness.
Uh-huh.
These could all be intertwined with the quantum realm in ways we're only beginning to explore.
I've heard some people even talk about quantum consciousness.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing or just more sci-fi?
That's a question that's currently sparking a lot of debate and research. Some physicists believe that consciousness itself might be a fundamental property of the universe, just like mass or energy.
Right.
They suggest that consciousness might even play a role in collapsing the wave function,
Okay.
the process we talked about earlier where a particle chooses its state upon observation.
So our minds are literally shaping reality.
Some believe so.
That's some serious Matrix level stuff right there.
Yeah, it's a pretty profound concept,
It is.
but it speaks to the potential power and mystery of consciousness.
Right.
It challenges us to consider that we might be more interconnected with the fabric of reality than we ever imagined.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on the phrase mind over matter.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, a lot of this is still theoretical. Right?
Of course.
We're still figuring out what it all means.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part.
Okay.
We're standing at the frontier of a whole new understanding of the universe and ourselves.
Right.
There are still many more questions than answers.
Sure.
But the journey of exploration is what makes it so captivating.
It's like setting out to explore a vast, uncharted ocean.
I like that.
We don't have all the maps yet, but that's part of
Yeah.
the adventure.
Exactly.
The book also touches on the spiritual side of all of this, right?
Yes, it does. It draws parallels between quantum phenomena and spiritual concepts that have been around for centuries.
Okay, like, give me an example.
For example, the idea of interconnectedness in quantum entanglement
Right.
resonates with the Buddhist concept of dependent origination,
Okay.
which emphasizes that everything is interconnected and interdependent.
So it's like science and spirituality are finally starting to have a conversation with each other after centuries of, like, awkward silence.
You could say that,
Yeah.
and it's a fascinating conversation to be a part of.
It really is.
Quantum mechanics is showing us that the universe is far stranger and more mysterious than we ever imagined, and that our scientific explorations are leading us to places we never expected.
And the book ends on a hopeful note.
Right, it does. Okay.
It really does.
It's not all just mind-bending paradoxes and existential dread.
Exactly.
Okay.
The book emphasizes that while quantum mechanics raises profound questions about the nature of reality,
Right.
it also offers a sense of wonder and possibility.
Okay.
It reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves.
Right.
A universe full of mystery and beauty. It's like we are all part of this grand cosmic dance.
Well, I like that.
And we are just beginning to learn the steps.
What a beautiful way to put it. And as we delve deeper into the quantum realm, we might just find that the steps are even more intricate and awe-inspiring than we ever imagined.
All right, we've covered some serious ground here.
We have.
We've got particles acting like waves, unseen dimensions, and maybe even a little bit of cosmic consciousness sprinkled on top.
And don't forget about the multiverses.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Who knows? Maybe there's another version of us out there having this exact same conversation.
Right.
Just with slightly better coffee.
Hey, now you're talking my language.
Right.
So where do we go from here?
That's a good question.
If quantum mechanics is rewriting the rule book on reality, how are we supposed to live our lives?
Well,
do we need to start meditating more?
You could.
Trying to tap into these quantum fields?
I wouldn't necessarily say you need to become a quantum mystic.
Okay.
But I think the key takeaway is to cultivate a sense of openness, curiosity, and a willingness to question our assumptions about the world. Quantum mechanics shows us that reality is far stranger and more wondrous than we often give it credit for.
It's like that old saying, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly. And there's something very humbling and even exhilarating about that.
Oh, yeah.
We're not just passive observers in a predetermined universe.
Right.
We're active participants in a reality that's constantly unfolding and full of potential.
It's like we are all quantum explorers now.
Yeah.
Charting the unknown territories of reality.
What a fantastic way to put it.
Yeah.
And just like any good explorer, we need to be equipped with the right tools.
Right.
In this case, those tools aren't just telescopes and microscopes, but also our own intuition, creativity, and capacity for wonder.
It sounds like quantum mechanics is giving us permission to be a little more awestruck by the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just awestruck, but also more connected to it.
Right.
To each other and to ourselves.
Right.
If everything is ultimately interconnected,
Yeah.
then every interaction, every thought, every act of creation carries a certain weight and potential.
I think you've just given us all a lot to think about.
Well, I hope so.
I know I'm going to be looking at the world a little differently after this deep dive.
That's what we were hoping for.
It really is.
Quantum mechanics has a way of shifting your perspective.
Right.
Opening up new ways of seeing and experiencing reality.
A huge thank you to the book, Understanding Existence Through Quantum Mechanics.
Yes.
For providing the framework for today's deep dive.
It's a fascinating book.
We've covered everything from the double slit experiment to entanglement.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Multiverses, unseen existence, even a touch of spirituality.
It's been a pleasure exploring these mind-bending concepts with you.
Likewise.
And who knows, maybe our conversation here has rippled out into the quantum foam, creating a whole new universe as we speak.
Now that's a thought to end on.
I know, it's pretty wild.
We hope this deep dive has left you, our listener, with more questions than answers.
Always a good thing.
And a renewed sense of wonder about the universe and your place within it.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the mystery.
I love